Hey, what's up, everyone? So, I woke up the other day and I thought to myself,
There. Hold up. Wait a minute.
how much of a PC can I actually build for around $600 in today's market? With the newer parts costing an arm and leg or just outright overpriced, I wanted to see if you could still get a decent gaming rig with real expectations of today's market in early 2025 and without applying for a loan. And spoiler alert, guys, it's possible. I believe PC gaming should be for everyone to enjoy, and today I'll be showing you exactly how I did it. So grab a snack, guys, and let's get into this build. All right, let's start with the case, guys. I went with the MOROVALE ATX Mid Tower, which cost about $64.99 on Amazon at the time of purchase, so be aware that the price can be different. This case is not too big and not too little. It has a nice sleek look to it that I personally like, guys, and has a great cooling functionality and has a tempered glass side panel so I can see that sweet AIO later. This thing comes with four pre-installed fans that are not RGB that you can daisy chain. Three in the front for intake and one in the back for exhaust. Basically, it's like having a tiny wind tunnel inside your room, guys. It's got enough space for an ATX motherboard, though not too much space for cable management, but it's decent. I made it work. This also supports GPUs up to 320 millimeters and even leaves room for a 360 millimeter cooler up front if you're feeling fancy. Overall, it's a great budget friendly case, in my opinion. All right, let's move on to the motherboard. I got the Gigabyte B450 Aorus Elite V2, which I found for $70 locally. I couldn't pass this deal up, guys. So if you're interested in this motherboard, it supports a Ryzen 3000 and 5000 series CPUs and has decent VRNs for stable performance and comes with dual M.2 slots for fast storage and Wi-Fi 2. While it lacks PCI Express Gen 4, it's still a reliable pick for a budget build since I'm using the Ryzen 5 5500 with PCI Express 3. Overall, I recommend getting the B550 as they're less costly than the B450s right now, so it makes sense to get one instead. And you can sometimes grab one with Wi Fi for around $89. You can also check local marketplaces because, let's face it, we all love a good deal. However, you do run the risk of buying used, so be aware of that, guys. All right, guys, let's talk about the brains of this operation, the AMD Ryzen 5 5500, a 6 core 12 thread gem that only cost me $80 on Amazon. It handles gaming, multitasking, and maybe even your taxes. Okay, it won't do that. Now, you might be wondering why go with the Ryzen 5 5500 instead of the 5600X? The biggest reason is I'm broke. I have nothing. Okay, obviously the price at $80, the 5500 is significantly cheaper than the 5600X, which usually goes for $130 including shipping. But beyond price, the biggest trade-off is that the 5500 is limited to PCI Express Gen 3, which the motherboard I got supports, whereas the 5600X supports Gen 4 and the Aorus V2 doesn't support. But for the budget build with the GPU like RX 6600, this won't impact gaming performance at all, guys. So for the price, I would recommend that. But for now, the 5500 makes way more sense for the build. All right, let's move on to the RAM. I went with the Team Group T-Force Vulcan DDR4 32 GB, which cost me $46.99. If you're super tight on a budget, you can opt for the 16 GB kit at around $29.99. But trust me, 32 GB is where it's at if you want to future proof your setup and run all the Chrome tabs. Now, for the CPU cooler, I'm using the Thermalright Aqua Elite 240V3 AIO that I got on Amazon for about $44. This AIO provides excellent cooling for the price and it has a sleek look with the RGB. I've installed this AIO in other builds and I've seen temps stay consistent around 50 to 60 Celsius high load thanks to its high density copper cold plate, which maximizes heat dissipation, and it has a 240mm aluminum radiator, allowing efficient heat transfer, and the dual 120mm PWM fans offer high static pressure and adjustable speeds for optimum airflow while keeping noise levels low. This CPU stays cool, especially if you pair it with the Arctic MX6 thermal paste, which apparently is 20% more efficient than the last formula, even when I'm pushing it during intense gaming sessions or playing Roblox on max settings, guys. For storage, I went with a 2-drive setup. First, a Kingston NV3 1TB Gen 4 M.2 for $60 on Amazon, lightning fast with read and write speeds up to 6,000 megabytes per second. This is where we'll put our games and files. And for second storage is a smaller Fanxiang S500 Pro 256GB Gen 3 M.2 for $23 on Amazon. And this is where we're going to be putting Windows. It has a reading write speed as high as 3,500 megabytes per second, and with a super fast boot times compared with the SATA 3, this M.2 can achieve up to 5 times the transfer speed for the price. You can't go wrong. For the power supply, I grabbed the Thermaltake Smart 600 watt ATX PSU for $44 on Amazon. It's nothing fancy, but it's reliable and efficient, and it won't fry your components. I wouldn't trust this secondhand. Plus, at 600 watts, it leaves room for upgrades. And you could also opt for a 700 watt for a few more dollars if you could squeeze that in. Next up, guys, is the Asrock Challenger RX 6600 8GB. I snagged this little beast for $189 on Amazon. The market right now is crazy with GPUs, with not much difference in performance going for $300 or more. And yeah, while GPUs with 16 gigabytes of VRAM are all the rage right now, my wallet said,
"Hey, no, stop, just calm down, don't do it."
For 1080p gaming, guys, this card is still punching above its weight. In games like Warzone or Cyberpunk 2077, you're looking at buttery smooth performance at high settings. Sure, it's not ultra max ray tracing, but hey, I can still see all the pixels and they're beautiful, guys. Plus, the RX 6600 is super power efficient, so it pairs perfectly with our budget PSU. And let's be honest, spending less here means more money for upgrades in the future. Alright, let's see some gameplay. So, how does this little rig perform? In testing the RX 6600 and Ryzen 5 5500 combo, it hit over 120 FPS in competitive titles like Fortnite and on DirectX 12, guys, and around 90 to 100 FPS on Warzone on medium to high settings. And for heavier games like Cyberpunk 2077, you're looking at a solid 70 to 85 FPS at high settings, and of course with AMD FSR enabled. So, there you have it. A budget build that punches way above its price tag, and it's perfect for 1080p gaming and with good airflow, fast storage, a reliable GPU. This build proves you can still game on a budget whether you're building your first PC or upgrading an older one. This setup is proof that sometimes less is more for now. If you enjoyed this build, make sure to like the video, hit subscribe to support this channel so I can make more builds like this, and comment down below what your budget build looks like. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.